I know.
So first and foremost, we'll get our announcements out of the way as fast as possible. First thing I want to announce, with a little help from our resident gnome Bard here today, Scanlan's playlist on Spotify went up on the website. Yeah, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Go log on to geekandsundry.com/find it on that site somewhere.
It's on the front page right now.
And you can find it on Spotify. There's some cool songs in there. And,
very good.
and
Cool
also
songs? That's baby making music right there, baby.
yeah, there's some panty peelers in there too.
That's a terrible term.
That is my clothes
really-
falling
I
off.
wrote it in the song description.
did, you
Somebody edited it out.
Really? Oh no.
Well,
Go check that out, guys.
Go check that out, guys.
Exactly. It's actually a pretty great playlist. I've been listening to it all afternoon while I was prepping for this. Which, by the way, it's really interesting to write stuff for the current scenario in Whitestone with like some Marvin Gaye in the background.
are we gonna feel that influence on tonight's game?
I certainly hope not.
Oh,
Also,
Get it.
next cool announcement: our first Critical Role comic.
Yeah.
Today. A glorious first panel starting off the adventure, the past adventure of the party in Westerun for their first Winter's Crest Festival. So yeah, there'll be one 4-panel comic coming out each week to go through the 6-week run of this storyline, written by our fantastic Taliesin Jaffe and Marisha Ray over here, and drawn by the incredible
Sam Riegel.
Yes. No. Wendy Doodles on Twitter. You guys know Wendy. She's one of our official artists. She's absolutely
Wendy.
amazing.
Wendy.
Hey, Wendy.
She's the artist for this run, so show her some love.
Endlessly charming.
yes,
So good.
Very much so.
Really quick announcement that
Yes.
I forgot to put on the document. Hey guys, so we are still in sub-only chat tonight, but we will be doing a giveaway at the half if we reach the sub goal, which is every 100, and I think we're 93 away from the next one.
Whoa.
So if we hit 11,500 before the half, there will be a giveaway, and we will open that up to everyone watching, not just subscribers only. So anyone watching, don't fret, you still have a chance to win stuff.
That's awesome. And what is in the
Sounds great.
giveaway?
Like tons of shit, like posters,
You will get
signed posters,
tons of shit.
D&D stuff. It's just a
Scanlan
big box of
special.
awesome shit.
www.tonsofshit.com.
Exactly.
We
Don't
also
look
got
that
a
Don't look that up.
That's
It's
there.
just gonna make you unhappy.
we got a big fat care package from Curtis Weeby, who is the writer of Rat Queen. So we have collected volumes. The first volume or 2 of Rat Queens. There's some T-shirts, so some of that will probably be finding its way in. Obviously, we love Rat Queens.
obviously.
We like to
We're
fill
fans.
your care packages with tons of cool shit.
Don't use that one.
Just kind of throw random things in there for you guys as well. Cool random things, not just random things.
It's like Critical Role's favorite things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
We'll be putting out a catalog.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Favorite things.
Don't do that. Cool. So check out the comic strip.
There's a fucking room behind you.
There is a broom. Get that out of there.
That's
There
because
you
we're gonna
go.
sweep these briarwoods under the carpet.
That was quick. Felt that one.
So good.
Are you?
Oh.
Oh no.
Character ready to roll when this all goes down. Yeah!
You can't have a plan B already.
I don't have a plan B.
Much like my parents, I have
That's
a
okay.
plan B. So,
We also have, Laura, if you want to take this away, we have some new merch apparently that just went up in the store, which is
Oh
great.
my goodness gracious. So yeah, starting today, there will be a couple Critmas hoodies available in the Geek and Sundry stock. So Marisha, if you want to hold up one.
Ready?
There's black and there's green. You guys should go on the website and check it out because all the little details are freaking amazing.
A little ugly Christmas sweater.
And these are designed by Kenneth.
So
Get it?
Yes.
Yule poop.
You're
There's
amazing.
Yule poop here.
there's there's scat poop.
Oh, there is.
Happy
And
clarity.
it's
Yeah.
singing. It's
So we
singing
have a little
poo.
trinket, and there's Minxie,
Diesel
and there's a
guns.
pepper box shooting bullets,
And then there's arrows.
Daggers.
and there's dagger. It's
Layers
freaking
tape.
awesome.
It's a Christmas sweater.
I just tweeted out links to the store from the
Yeah.
Critical Role Twitter handle, so you can check it
So
out.
they're the coolest.
Yeah,
and
they-
then
they-
there's
they-
also, and I know everybody was talking about how do you want to do the shirts are sold out. Those will be coming back very soon. And there is also how do you want to do this mouse pads for those people that don't want to wear anything and just want to surf the web
Watch us.
And look at it.
naked.
Oh,
I'm
natural.
now
That's
wondering
what
how
it's
much
for.
of our audience is currently. Never mind.
Just wearing a mouse pad?
Yeah.
wearing a
Those who don't know, I don't wear pants during this show. No,
We're like newscasters.
exactly.
He's so hairy we hardly notice. To be fair.
It's true. I'm like a satyr.
I've got
quickly.
plastic on my character.
Crusader!
This is a
Draw that shit first.
Oh man, yeah, we had a lot of great feedback. People saying that shirts were great, but we wanted to start expanding into other parts of merchandise people were requesting. So we're starting to do that. So
Yeah, there's some other cool things coming up too, but
Yeah.
that's what's available now. So.
we've been trying to be creative to make sure you guys have stuff if you want it, especially for this season. So.
Oh, and just to do it again, since we haven't done it enough, please do check out the Spotify links and the comics. Go to the actual Geek and Sundry website, because the more traffic the Geek and Sundry website gets for us, for you guys going there to look at our stuff, the more excited they are to do cool stuff for us. So if you want more of this, definitely go there and
Well, also, I mean, if you go to the website, then you can see the blurbs that we wrote about
Yeah,
each of
which
the
is-
songs and like the
Blurbs.
explanations about why we chose them, and that's
And
what
we each picked fan art.
What I do is I favorite the geekandsundry.com website. I check it every morning when I wake up. That's what I do. It's like my news in the morning.
I think I'll do that tomorrow morning. That's a great idea. That's imitatable.
we have so much stuff we want to do for you guys. We have grand plans.
We do.
and
Grand Slam plans.
We're
Yay.
open.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks,
We're
Denny's.
open.
All right.
Cool. Next up, just remind you guys, most of our actual show announcements and stuff go up on our @CriticalRole Twitter handle. We have all our personal ones, but that's our kind of central place for all Critical Role related business and announcements. So if you don't follow that, you should, because all our cool stuff goes up on that. So yay. Also, today's donations and our donations for a while are going to be going towards a new charity. Pushing towards Doctors Without Borders to help support people in crisis around the world. It's a wonderful organization. We're going to play a video with information about it during the break today. But in a world that is filled with a lot of positivity, there are dark places and there are dark things, and people need aid. And so we're hoping to do what we can to try and give to those circumstances. So check it out at the break, and anyone who's able to help give to that, please do so.
Solid.
Let's see. A couple other announcements. We will be off next week for Thanksgiving because all of us have families to see. So there'll be no Critical Role next week. Unfortunately, I think we'll be doing are we doing a rebroadcast of something, or are we just?
We'll probably do a rebroadcast of all the episodes.
Okay.
Like a marathon?
We're just.
Sure, why not?
There's like 24 hours of just a close up of a turkey. It's gonna be great. A turkey I cook, so undercooked. But yeah, so we won't be here next Thursday, but we're thinking of you lovingly in the process, and we'll be returning the Thursday after that to continue this story.
You'll be DMing a game for your family, I would assume.
Yes.
Never ends. No, I'll be eating copious amounts of pumpkin pie, probably.
You are now Homer Simpson in hell with the donuts just going.
More. Don't get it. This is. Yeah. So there's that. Other cool announcement. This week saw a video game release of Star Wars Battlefront.
It's so
Yeah.
good. It's so good.
Oh, I haven't had a chance to play it yet because Fallout.
Because Fallout.
But that's the next one on the list. But you can hear both me and Marisha in Star Wars Battlefront as stormtroopers yelling at you, both to kill you if you're rebels or to do better if you're with the Empire.
That was
Fine to be this way.
And this is like the first time they're really focusing on female stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Pretty
I
freaking
So it's
cool.
pretty cool.
think it's rad.
Yeah.
So apologies for being yelled at by us.
Yes.
Anything else you want to go over, or should
Yeah,
I?
Sam, put your hand up by your face. Now high five me while I high five down on the count of three.
Wait,
One.
do I go up or down?
You're going straight down. Straight up.
He's
1, 2, 3. Did it work?
Did it work?
I gotta go lower. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, so strong. So strong.
What does he even
You gotta wait like 20 seconds, but
PayPal. Switched over to PayPal.
Oh man.
While he looks at that, one last thing. We are, as always, friends with Wormwood Gaming. If you want beautiful wooden boxes, all kinds of colors and patterns, go to Wormwood Gaming. And if you use the code CRITROLL, you will get
Say it
free
again,
shipping.
crit
Crit
roll.
You'll get free shipping.
One more time.
Hey, one nerd helping out another.
they are.
Go on.
Their
So
stuff is
sexy.
beautiful.
They are
and we
very
love it
sexy.
very much.
Grug.
And they have magnets in them so they keep your decks protected when they're in your other bags. Your bag of holding.
And
keeps
Christmas
my-
is just around the corner.
This keeps my Christmas bronze figure that someone got me. Thank you,
Oh
whoever you
man.
Nice, so nice.
Yeah, you've got your little mini in there.
I know, I'm so
Yay.
excited. I have a mini. I'm not even in the game really. I mean, I am, but I'm everything. You know. Most of the minis are like really
That's
crappily
Gilmore's
painted
mini.
plastic
Anytime
ones.
Gilmore talks, can he have that mini?
Oh no, I'm gonna one day do a Gilmore mini. I'm pretty sure. It'll be fun.
Can't
All
wait
right.
for us to break the fourth wall.
I brought this for good luck today.
Oh.
Good.
It's gonna be my whoopee.
Hey now.
As it
Not cool.
should.
Not
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Not cool.
Oh wow.
From
Did
an
you even
old,
intend
old
that?
man.
We do not use the
He
W
went-
word
I don't-
around
does he
here.
even know what he was
Party a
saying?
couple
I don't
years
know
back.
if he.
I think
Yeah,
he
he
does.
knows. He knows.
We're off the rails again.
All right, let's go.
start
Yeah,
again.
sorry.
It's all
Kill
good.
some
Get up.
vampires.
God
Fucking
damn it.
vampires.
Did you use Whoopi intentionally?
Yes.
Good.
God damn it.
And then a drinking game. I think it's
He's a Mr. Mom. He's a Mr. Mom.
They don't know where you're pointing.
Point down. Point down.
He's a Mr.
directly
Mom.
below you. There you go.
This guy.
Your
right here.
your penis is it Mr. Mom?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's
for life.
get kicking into this evening's episode of Critical Role. So,
Oh no.
to get all of you up to speed,
Body's ready.
the party has traveled to Whitestone partially to free their name of some negative political ramifications back in their home city of Amman, and to aid Percy in possibly freeing his hometown of Whitestone from the oppression of Lord and Lady Briarwood, a couple who have risen to power over the past 5 years after slaughtering his family and taking it over and keeping it all this time. After arriving, they found a very heavy undead presence in the town, with giant zombies roaming the streets as sentinels. Most of the townsfolk kind of kept under perpetual watch in this slowly will-crushing atmosphere. But as Vox Machina arrived, they began to instill the thoughts of rebellion, stoking those flames once again with the return of the surviving De Rolo. They began to sway the people's minds to make a final stand. During that time of which they also discovered that Percy's sister Cassandra is also a surviving De Rolo and exists somewhere in Castle Whitestone, seemingly under lock and key. The party began to systematically take out members of the new nobles who worked underneath the Briarwoods, setting many buildings on fire, leaving emblems of the De Rolo crest across the town and written in the sky. And after an extensive battle, began to make their way towards the Castle Whitestone itself. Burrowing into a partially collapsed but long-remembered secret passage underneath the castle, the party rested for the evening with the help of their recently arrived cleric Pike, who had managed to project herself through the will of Sarenrae as a spiritual body given temporary physical form. While they were searching this tunnel, it led to the dungeons, the prison cells beneath the Castle Whitestone, where Percy once woke up 5 years before Cassandra helped him escape. While they were walking through those cells, they discovered an old woman currently locked down below there, who is asking for the party's aid in freeing her from her imprisonment. And last time we left off, you were sort of helping with
Fake helping.
With the lock, much to her chagrin.
Yeah, and I had just snapped it off into the lock so that
Yeah.
it's jammed it.
You're a terrible person.
Yeah.
All right, so as you snap off the lock and pull away from it, having the strange physical interaction in the darkness around here, Trinket kind of behind you, just kind of breathing over your shoulder, keeping close to you just in case anything goes wrong. She kind of pulls her hands away.
Fine. Do as you wish. Leave me to rot.
Oh, we'll be back. Don't worry.
She backs up and sits in the far corner of the prison room, the cell, and
I look around. Has everybody else left me then?
The only people that are in the light.
Yeah.
All right, then I follow to where everybody else is going.
all right.
And she only saw me and
Me
you.
and
me.
Scanlan.
And Scanlan, yeah, you all
Yeah.
stepped out into the light. The rest of you kind of stayed in the shadows around.
Okay.
All right, so there are the rest of the cells, which Vax has gone through and taken some time to inspect, where you found what appear to be the remnants of individuals who were imprisoned here and then left to die, long rotted, their corpses picked apart by various resident rodents and other creatures. After doing your passes, this conversation has happened. You see no other signs of life down here, this being the sole prisoner currently within the cells below.
I go and I find Scanlan.
Oi.
So, question.
Yes.
When you cast seeming on us,
Yes.
our visual... You can't... If you made me look like a cow, would I seem like a cow when I bumped into you, or would I seem like a human
Are
bumping
you asking me to make you into a cow right
No,
now?
I'm saying that if something was different...
Because I think this is not the right time.
I think that old woman was doing something weird.
Why do you think that?
Because she looked like she had full handses, but
4 hands?
full,
Oh, full hands.
normal sort of hands. But I didn't feel them.
You didn't feel them. You touched her hand and it just
Her
passed
hand
right
touched
through
me,
it.
but it didn't.
That's an illusion of some sort. Yes.
So she was doing some sort of...
I don't know what, but yes. So if I were to cast seeming on us or some other sort of magic, it would make us look one way but not feel that way.
I guess it's good that we left her then.
She's doing. She's a caster of some sort.
I don't know.
Can you dispel seeming?
Should we go find out?
I don't know.
How would we do that?
Huh?
How would we
Can
do
you
that?
dispel seeming?
I don't know. Let's go find
Do you have
out.
a dispel magic
No,
on you right now?
I have no.
Oh my god, I do!
Well.
Oh, I learned it!
Oh, Keyleth.
Hey, Keyleth.
Are we calling everyone over for this conversation? Is that the...
Are we calling?
Well, I was just
I think
talking
we
to
should.
Scan.
Her.
Yeah, I'm far away
We
from
should.
her now.
There's a kid. That prisoner over there is casting magic of some
Yeah,
sort.
I
I
don't
think she
like
had
her.
seeming cast on her. I don't know if she did it herself or if... Well, but I don't think she was what she
we
appeared
want
to
to
be.
waste power on somebody who's...
What if she's
An
a
early
sentinel?
warning system.
Yeah, yeah. What if she's a guard and
What
look
if
out
she's
of some
Lady Briarwood, like what we were saying?
Well,
That's what I'm most afraid of.
well, then we should find out now and kill the shit out of her.
I vote for
Well,
that.
before we do that, let's see who she is.
I'm wearing
I did
a hat
come
of disguise,
prepared,
by the
though.
way.
Dispel
Okay.
magic.
With
So
a
you can do dispel
particular-
magic on her.
I learned it.
Stay
I
in the
did.
shadows, Keyleth, and cast it on her.
Let me. make
Percy, you're
sure
wearing
I'm
what?
range.
I'm wearing a hat of disguise so that I'm not immediately identifiable.
What are you in disguise as?
Yeah.
A dude in a hat.
Link from The Legend of Zelda. I don't know.
Well, you've got to figure it out right now.
I've
don't
got to
you?
figure it out right now. Just as a reasonable Whitestone peasant.
Okay.
Reasonable.
Terrible teeth.
Trying to blend in.
Terrible.
By comparison to this troop, you look like some poor sap who got pulled along. But yeah, you are you're the one quest giver in Warcraft that walks way too slow, and the party's like, "Come on, move!" That's who you look like, right?
So before we dispel magic on her, should we have someone put her in their sights in case she gets a little funky monkey? when
She will be able to feel it.
Well, yeah, she'll
But I
look
mean-
like she's not herself.
We could also just ask her to drop it that we see that she's...
We asked her who she was. She lied a lot.
Well, we could ask her to drop the seeming, though.
She lied pretty well too.
She did.
We could. I could try. I could go talk to her, and meanwhile, she could be fiddling with her magic behind me.
Do it.
You go talk to her. I'll be prepared.
I'll stay in the shadows with my arrow notched at her.
I'll stay with Scanlan in case things
Thank
go
you.
wrong.
I'm we. Yes, let's do
I
that.
stay next
I'll
to,
stay in the shadows.
How close together are the bars to this cell?
The bars are about, I'd say, 4 inches apart.
4 inches.
Yep.
So my arrow will do much better than your dagger.
Well, no, I'm not saying for you not to, but would I be able to comfortably throw through here, do you think, if I stood? Yeah. Right. And I'm not telling you not to.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. She'd have a little bit of cover, but
Shoot your arrow too. Shoot your dagger. Whatever.
Shoot your dagger.
He doesn't shoot daggers.
Passive aggressive much.
All right, so I stroll over back to the cell.
With Scanlan also.
Oh, with flanked by a grog.
Yes.
Yes.
okay.
Not looking friendly, me though.
Yeah. Okay, and there is the one torch that's, a little off to the side that gives a little bit of light into this one portion of the dungeon below here. She's kind of sat out into the shadows of the far corner, arms crossed. You can see a little bit of the light framing her form. You make out okay in the darkness this close as a gnome, but you can see that she's kind of just kind of hunched in the corner, huffing in frustration.
Oi, old lady. Listen. We said we were going to come back for you and release you when all was said and done. But we cannot make that promise if you don't tell us the complete truth. Now, we know that you're using magic of some sort. Now, tell us who you really are.
I'm sorry, what?
We are smart little people and big people.
Thank you.
And we know, we can sense that you are casting magic of some sort on yourself to disguise yourself. Now, I have some familiarity with this, so I make no judgment as to why, but please reveal your true self to us, or else we cannot trust you, and we will leave you here to rot and possibly die.
Now.
Wait, no, let him try.
That face.
Now I do it now! I don't know!
No, I do it now!
Hopefully quieter than that in the game.
As Keyleth, partially in the shadows, the form of Scanlan, small enough to not really obscure her presence, but she nevertheless, gestures in the air, recites beneath her words the forbidden Druidic languages that, coalesce the powers of nature around. At which point, there's a dull flash of energy within the cell. Some of the nearby straw on the ground kind of just gets blown away from her form from just the general push of air that the spell kind of disperses in the impact.
Sorry, got a little squirrely on that one.
The gray hair, the tattered clothes all vanish, revealing beneath it a woman in her early mid-40s or so, jet black hair, pulled into a tight ponytail, but strings of it kind of in front of her face. Still in kind of disarray, but nowhere near as wrecked as the previous visage you were presented with. She's wearing nice travel clothes with what looks like some sort of a long duster, almost like coat that is a little ragged. You can see there's a little stain from just probably being down here for a while. And as soon as this moment hits, she pushes back even further, kind of pressing herself against the wall, arms to the side.
There you are.
I must say, you look way better like this.
Happy?
Extremely.
Yes, I'd say so.
Yes. So who are you for real?
My name is Anna.
And I would like to be set free, if you don't mind. I can be of assistance to you. I happen to know a lot of information about the people that currently reside within this castle.
How would you know anything about them?
Release me and I'll tell you.
You want to be set
Tell us
free.
and we'll release you.
Who said that?
You've been so forthright in your interest in helping such an old and frail woman. How can I have any sort of guarantee of my safety should I give you the information you seek? You can very well slay me in this cell.
That might happen if you're not careful.
What's Percy doing right now? Where's Percy?
Do you recognize it, Percy?
Yes.
You very much recognize it. You do notice, by the way, her right hand is where the sleeve ends. There is no hand there. It is just a missing hand, and there's the left hand is visible.
As far as we can see, unarmed, right?
Yeah.
Anna,
Yes.
let's be frank with each other. You have two options. Either you are going to die in this cell, and I promise you, you will die in this cell, or you're going to convince us why you shouldn't. So I would start talking right now, or I swear, we will not leave this dungeon before you're dead.
Roll intimidation check.
Uh, 16.
16.
Decent.
And just as he finishes talking, I throw a dagger right a foot away from her head in the wall. that
Okay.
she's
You
at.
gave her a fucking dagger, and then if she flashes back to you, right?
So the dagger,
Yeah.
which is thrown, it hits the stone wall next to her and jams itself between two of the stone bricks and kind of gets wedged there for a second. She looks over a second, reaches up for it, and grabs the hilt as it vanishes in a puff of smoke.
So fucking lucky it did that.
She's gonna leans forward and stands up and steps into the light. You have a better look of her now. You know, her face is a little weathered from travel, and you can see she definitely doesn't appear to be noble born, at least, by her. She's not by no means, a homely-looking individual, but she definitely, you can see, she's seen the world, or elements of it to have those, dark lines at the sides of her face, whether it be from smiles or frowning. She steps into the light and looks to you, this peasant individual making these threats, and seems partially shaken, but keeping her composure in the face of such threats. Says, well, for one thing, I've been here with them for the past 5 years. I helped them re-establish their current social control of this city when they left it a pile of flames and rubble. And their little experiment beneath the castle, I was one of their chief scientific designers. So,
Tell us about the experiments beneath the castle.
you'll have to ask Silas or Delilah for that. I don't have all the details of the reasons behind it, other than the process I was brought in to construct. So,
Can I see if she's lying?
you can make an insight check.
Not great.
That's a number.
It is a number 16.
16? Okay. You get the sense that she's telling the truth. You're not quite sure how far the truth, but there doesn't seem to be any sort of bold-faced deception in her voice at this point. She speaks with a confidence and a briskness of a person who's frustrated by the circumstance and has no other choice. I wasn't interested in their zealotry or the whispered dealings, just the challenge behind the construction. I enjoy challenge. Challenge that pays? Well, I enjoy that even more.
Question 2. What are you doing down here? Really?
I'm down here because my work is done, and I wish not to linger with an impending battle. I don't choose sides. I merely let them fight while I live another day far, far away. I wouldn't have gotten this far, dealing with the people I've dealt with in the past, if I had chosen to stick around under such circumstances. So, I tried to leave. It appears Anders saw me packing and decided to gain a little favor by turning me in. So they threw me down here, told me to wait out the rest of the experiment, at least until the ziggurat was complete. And so here I am, living amongst rats in a cell for over a week. That's my reward.
How'd you lose that hand?
Experiments can be dangerous sometimes. I dabble with chemicals and alchemical reagents that can be miscalculated, and I paid a price that will be an ever-present reminder until I can find a way to fix it, and there are ways.
Are you looking for ways to get back at the Briarwoods?
Based on the way they've treated me here, and their possible intent to not even keep up their end of the bargain now that I'm free to walk away, perhaps.
Can you lead us to Cassandra de Rolo?
She kind of turns her head with a curious look. I could, yes. Why do you ask? She looks at you very intently.
That may be what your life is worth.
So, what else do you wish to know? What else do you need to even get me out from behind these bars? Because I'm growing very uncomfortable and cold here in this cellar.
I pull forward. I look her very deeply in the eye. And I say, you should know who your friends are here. Do you know that we're friends? And I'm going to become friends. So I'm casting friends.
Okay.
What?
What?
Good Percy casting friends or Shadow Monster casting friends?
We'll never know
Percy.
until
Hard to say.
he and Ripley kill us all.
Just for flavor, there is definitely some creepy
I
happening.
mean, getting creepy.
Okay. So you stare at her at this point, intent, pushing yourself towards the bars, and she's still kind of looking you over like she's searching for some sort of an inclination as to why you're so interested in these particular questions.
You've been truthful with us so far, correct? You haven't been fudging around or playing games with us, really, have you?
I have no reason to lie.
Worst comes to worst, you kill me where I stand or leave me here to rot. What do I have to gain by lying at this point? Besides, you've already proven you can see through quite a few ruses. Apparently.
So, you'd be happy to help us find Cassandra de Rolo, wouldn't you?
If it gets me out of here and gets me free to do my own business, then yes. I may have to get a few things from my room, but I would be more than happy to be free of this desolate landscape. This whole town is a ruin of misery, and it has no color, has no culture. I've grown bored of it.
You say you're a scientist.
Yes?
Do you use magic?
I have no interest in paltry magics. I'm more of a... one who embraces the sciences as a means of understanding mystery. My whole purpose here was one giant chemical experiment.
Then who cast seeming on you?
That is to say, I don't have my tricks.
Anna,
Lying bitch.
Chemical experiment.
you will take us to Cassandra de Rolo. You will tell us what you know about what's in the basement. You will tell us where to find Lord and Lady Briarwood, and you will tell us where to find Professor Anders. And for this, we may let you go.
May. That word may.
I'll let you leave the castle.
And if I agree to these terms, you will release me this moment? Keep me safe until it is time for me to take my leave?
We may chain you to a bear, but yes.
This is a whole... this is Clarota all fucking over again.
You are, at the moment, the luckiest person in Whitestone. Do you know why? So you're at the bottom of my list. And I take off the hat.
Oh shit!
As the peasant image fades before her, there's an intensity to her eyes, a widening of realization as she steps back instinctually with a gasp. And there is definite fear in her voice and her eyes, but there's an uncontrollable smile on her face which catches you off guard. Percival.
She's a nervous laugher.
Well then, this certainly explains a lot. I have many questions. I found your recent work very fascinating.
I will be happy to give you an up-close and very personal demonstration. Unless, of course, you would rather have conversations about other topics.
We'll start with the other topics. She kind of adjusts her coat, regains her composure, and steps up to the bars expectantly.
Vax?
Alright. Come out of the shadows.
Oh god!
Okay.
Are we really letting her out?
Yep, we're
Get a
done.
chain ready. Or a noose of some sort.
Oh, we have manacles.
Great.
She's got one hand. How's that gonna be useful?
Well,
One hand
I
on
pull out-
everyone and then
I
one on
pull
the
out
bear.
a pick.
One on the bear, right?
yeah, sure.
It means there's just only one to shoot off to make sure she won't be a problem.
I pull out a pick and I walk up to the gate and I say, he's a very good shot. She's a very good shot.
He poops on things.
This
All the
guy, I've watched turn things into the jelly of the month, so I would tread very carefully.
And then I kind of peek out of the shadows and I go, hi.
She's a nervous laugher.
Go ahead and make a check lockpick. This will be more difficult than normal because
I
she
snapped
already
off a thing in
snapped
there.
off a
Yeah, alright.
thing
I'm
inside.
not sweating it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna use
yeah.
luck.
You need me to inspire
You're gonna
you,
use
sir.
luck
Well, wait.
now?
Wait,
Shall I inspire you?
It's already.
Don't use luck yet.
No, wait. That's not that bad. That's a 20.
It's a 20 baseline.
Yeah, because of my
Expertise.
thief perks, yeah.
All right. 20 is exactly what you needed. That was the next one. So you take a moment, you walk up all slick and...
Wait 1 sec. This never happened.
You have to get down, and you spend the next 30 seconds actually managing to get the pin that she has stuck in there out without actually breaking the spring inside and render it
Sorry about that.
Fucking doors.
It never ends!
About a minute and a half of awkward quiet as the sound of scraping metal and jimmying thieves' tools eventually...
We're still very tough. Don't let this.
And with that, the lock comes loose and the bars open a little bit.
Trinket, watch her.
The bear kind of, which at this point has been barely visible, steps out of the shadows as well.
Barely?
Oh, it would be you.
Kill him!
Teddy. All right, so steps out and presents very puffed up and trinket made to look at me towards Dr. Anna Ripley.
Here's the deal, Anna. You do what we ask. You do not betray us. You do not make our life difficult in any way, and you have my word, that you will leave Whitestone unmolested by us. If I sense the slightest hint, if I have a moment where I think that you might make a run for it, if I have a moment where I think you may cough inappropriately, I would ask you to think about everything you did to me. And I would like you to know that I've learned so much more than what you taught me that day. And I cannot wait to show you. And I will. But not until I find you again.
Whew. Understood.
Nice hand.
Shall we? She steps out of the cell, pushes the bar aside, kind of saunters up past you, steps over, kind of still facing you underneath the torchlight.
Should we shackle her?
No.
Oh, all right.
It'll arouse suspicion.
I'd like to gather my things.
Things? They let you have things in a prison cell?
Well, I don't have them here in the cell. They're in my room.
We have to go to your room?
I would like to.
What if
Tell
it's
us what
heavily
you
guarded?
need, and we'll get it for you, dear.
Very well. Come.
Right.
And she begins to step up the stairway that leads out of the dungeon.
Can you walk quietly, please?
You hear the slight chuckle in the darkness. She goes,
I haven't lived this long without learning to step a little gingerly.
Oh boy.
Well, let's go parading through the castle, shall we?
Let's just go.
Yeah.
I'll follow her.
okay.
Well, let's all follow her, right?
As you guys are walking up the stairs,
We should check any of the other cells.
We did. We already checked them all.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Are you walking up the stairs? She's kind of talking to you a little bit out loud, and she's just saying,
This whole entire endeavor, while it did pay well at the get-go, and did pique some of my curiosity, I'm very happy to see it out of my life after this.
you guys get to the top of the stairs, and there's a closed wooden door there. She comes to the door and kind of listens to it for a second. Opens it up and looks out.
Empty.
Pulls the door open and says,
Who would like to enter?
You would like to enter.
all right. Just giving the offer should be, and she steps into the room. This is a end of a long hallway that leads to a series of doors on the right and left side, and it seems to open into some sort of large, I want to say almost like a foyer, but a central entrance chamber to what would be the castle. And so she steps in. She's not going too far ahead. She's being very conscious that, based on the fact that she has nothing on her and you are very well armed, it would not behoove her to attempt to make a run for it.
Do we see anything in the room?
Any
that
guards or
looks-
anything?
Perception is passive as hell right now. I am trying to.
Oh, yeah.
Keeping a very sharp eye on.
No, I understand.
looking around, and she's taking her steps slowly, and she's looking around corners as you guys progress, and the doors that are there, everyone's being very quiet, and there's just the very gentle sounds of careful footsteps against the smooth stone floor. And she looks around, she turns around, looking at the rest of you a little confused, and goes, huh. Usually there are a lot more individuals frequenting this castle.
Maybe they've been drawn out by the, the thing that we incited outside that's been going on for like 45 minutes now?
That's true.
Feels like a trap.
Yeah.
Do I
No,
hear-
but there is fighting.
Maybe
Can we
they've been
hear
drawn-
fighting?
Yeah.
I mean, you're inside the castle right now. You could go and, if you want to try and enter one of the rooms to the right or left, you could see if there's a window or some sort of a
Are there any open-doored rooms? Any rooms?
All the doors are currently closed, but you don't know if...
I just want to see if I sense anything around.
Okay.
23.
Perception?
Yeah.
Okay. You take a moment and kind of listen around. Silent. Still. It's unnerving.
Does she have a window in her room?
You ask her?
We're at her doorway, aren't we?
No,
No, we're
you
still in the
just
floor.
stepped up to like the base floor of the castle. You're now on the base floor.
Oh, I see.
On the side of it. You're not even quite sure which way is north.
Nobody we're looking for is going to be above us, right? They're going to be below the castle.
For sure.
So we don't want her to get her shit in her room. We need to be asking how to get below the castle.
We'll get there.
What does she get? What are you
I want
getting?
to see what
She
she.
wants her weapon.
She
some
wants her
armor.
weapon. I want to see what she's
Why does
built
she?
anyway.
Why would we let her have a weapon?
We're not going to.
Can't we look at what she's built after we fight them?
This could
Although
be
it could be ususeful.
No, once the fight starts, she's
Just as we're walking, I just want to very gently take my gun
And shoot her with it.
and just put it gently at her back, going, nothing personal, I'm just feeling a bit nervous.
Understood. She straightens up a little more and continues walking ever so carefully. Not quite, leaning her head or making too many large movements, but definitely still keeping a seemingly nervous eye on how quiet the
I
atmosphere
creep
is.
over to one of the doors in the room and see if I can hear anything on the other side.
You don't hear anything inside the room. Roll perception check.
14.
Okay. You hear some slight muffled, like a dull thud noise, but you can't really tell how close it is. It's very, very, very faint.
Can I see if the door handle is?
It's open.
I step to the side and push it open.
Push it open. The door opens. Everyone before you kind of whips around, hearing the noise in the silence.
Just checking.
Looking inside, it appears to be a long, untouched music room. Kind of a space for hosting individuals. Where you would have small performances, and there's a very cold fireplace in the far corner. There is a small circular window that is placed in the center of the room that has a very, very thick glass pane with crossbar on it that seems to look out. And this is your first view for you, especially since you woke up in the tunnel, your first view of the outside.
And?
Do you go up to the window and look?
Her.
I'm following my sister in doing
Yeah.
the buddy cop thing.
Okay. You two coast up to the glass and look out, and another cloud-covered, slight drizzly morning has taken the caldera between the mountains, essentially, that houses Whitestone in this forest, and you can see the entire city of Whitestone down below this elevated part of topography. What you do see, one, are large plumes of smoke, about 6 or 7 of them, all gathered towards the very, very, what you can tell now is the north side of the city, which is the closest to you. You guys are on the southwest side of the castle, based on kind of the spatial awareness you're now made.
Where the more upper class folk would live, I'm assuming.
You can see. Go ahead and roll a perception check while you're glancing out.
Sure.
Oh, close.
It could have been so bad 20.
Okay.
Off a 1.
It was like, bling.
Those little moments.
No babies, no babies.
Taking a moment, and you kind of pull your brother in to kind of point out where you're looking.
It looks like, number one, the gates to the castle are wide open. There are tracks through the mud that lead down the pathway to the bottom, and right where the path from the castle intersects with the outer wall of Whitestone, there is a fray going on right now. It looks like the remnants of whatever sort of undead army that wasn't destroyed by you guys, combined with what may have been a number of the individuals who normally guard the castle, have all been momentarily distracted by the rebellion you guys have started, and for the time being at least, have left elements of this castle unguarded.
Nice. I would loot, but it's Percival's home. Do we see anything that looks like it could be a doorway leading down or anything?
We've gone up, right?
We're getting,
Or on
we're getting
the
my.
main level.
We're going to try and get my sister first.
Do you know, Percival, how to go under?
Yes. Unless there's something new, then yes. I was born here.
Okay.
Before my sister leaves, I grab her by the arm and say, listen to me. What is that?
Oh God.
Pizza. Shit, I said that. Listen to me. I do not have a good feeling about this. And I start to undo the cloak that's on me, and I want you to wear this.
Oh!
And I tie an elven cloak. Shut up. Please. I don't need it. You will wear this. You will stay hidden when it is needed. You almost lost me. I almost lost you. You will wear this as needed.
I will wear it. Thank you.
I walk out ahead of her.
All right.
Pull that up.
Pull that up. So you now have a elven cloak. So you get advantage on stealth checks. As you guys step into the hallway and you're moving forward, Pike's physical form is kind of drifting along you guys as she takes each step. You can see she's kind of stopped a little bit and she's lost in thought for a moment. And she kind of looks at the rest of you and says, "There is a great evil here." And you can see part of her form kind of flicker and shake and almost blink for a moment, and then she resorts. She goes, "Something's willing me away." And with that, her form just vanishes.
Oh no.
Damn.
As you feel this warmth on your hand, Vax, and the symbol of Sarenrae that you have embedded in your glove, you look down and it has a slight glow to it, similar to the color that her divine energy form had taken. And you see it just slowly fade, but not entirely. The symbol seems to just have this general, very faint radiation, a reminder, or at least what a small semblance of a connection to her in this dark, dark place.
Goodbye, Pike.
Oh my God. Before we move on from that foyer, can we see the front door from where we're at?
If you go another 20, 30 feet ahead to the end of this hallway, it should open up into the main entrance chamber, and you would be able to see the doors.
So we're not there yet. Okay.
No.
I'm going to take a moment, and I have an epiphany, and I'm going to shift my form into a castle guard.
Okay.
Smart.
Next.
Very smart.
What you saw through the window, should we move through the castle quickly because it's unguarded?
There's fighting going on now. I don't want to eat right now. We'll
Hit it on the break.
Yeah, we'll wait.
We'll wait. I saw fighting, lots of fighting. I feel like if we're going to move, we need to do it quickly.
All right.
Yeah, we're on a clock.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Anna?
Anna.
I lower the gun and let her move forward.
You don't need to lower it.
Okay.
Where was it again? Which? The room? Still bed?
That's right.
She continues forward, heads towards the rest of the hallway into the main entrance chamber of the castle, very carefully looking about. She gestures the rest of you to follow. And as you follow up alongside her, you can see the two large front doors that situate the entrance, the main entrance to Whitestone.
Are they open?
No, they are closed.
Okay.
I have 20 caltrops. Can I throw 10 of them in front of the door?
Yeah, if you'd like to. They scatter and cling against the ground, scraping into the stone and eventually coming to a stop loosely around the two doors, which are about 8 feet wide each, so 16 feet of it, so you're scattering about one every foot and a half.
I watched him do that. I kind of shrug, and I reach into my pack and I throw 30 more out.
Oh.
Okay. Area's a little more coverage on there, but nevertheless, there is a nice cluster of nasty spiked caltrops now.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Will.
Covering the exterior.
Grog, using your noggin.
One a day. One a day.
Is that our thought for the day then?
Yeah, that's all for the day.
Let's get to her room.
Don't sprain yourself. We need you later.
Ripley starts making her way up the stairs, and the staircase ascends for a good 15 feet up before it splits into two curved stairways that come around to a second landing to the second floor.
So, hang on 1 second real quick. He's dressed as a guard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and cast Enhance Ability on you for Charisma.
I don't need it.
We do know that
Has it worn off?
it lasts for a minute, so yeah, it's
Okay.
worn off.
Oh, it only lasts for a minute?
No,
The
his
one I
friend
had
who's
on.
used it. He'll last for a minute.
I had enhanced charisma on for a little while, but now it's gone. So if you do it, it will not. What I had is gone. So if you do
Pour
it,
some sugar
So
on
we'll
it,
help
Tila.
him.
Do it.
English.
I'll
Yes,
do
speak
it.
it.
I'm gonna enhance in case we
Enhance.
get busted, so you'll have advantage on persuasion rolls.
Okay, so you have advantage on all charisma-based ability checks.
All right. Putting that down.
Also, no one forget that we have hero
Enhance
speed.
wisdom.
Oh yeah.
We know it.
While we're walking, how long, if I put the holy oil on things, it lasts for a few hours, right? It lasts for like half a day or something?
I'd say it lasts for about an hour after application.
Wait till we're in the thick of it. I think it's only.
Because the oil will eventually just drift off. It is an oil, and
Dries and stuff.
yeah, it dries and
wanna be
most
here
of it
any
off. So
longer.
that's about an hour after application.
Alright.
So let's head to her room.
Okay. You head up the stairs, and she's being very quiet about it. She comes up to the landing, heads to the first major hallway that opens up into a long set that goes all the way to the eastern side of the castle. You recognize this area. This is where a number of kind of smaller guest rooms were arranged. There's also a reading room. There is around the corner and down the way is where your father's study is. And around the back is where Professor Anders' study was. She continues forward and eventually stops to a door halfway down the hall. Kind of motions to all of you. Do you mind?
What do you want? What's in there?
My belongings?
I want to see what you've been working on.
All right. She opens the door.
I'll wait outside and stand watch.
I walk in with her.
Yeah, I stay right next to her.
Okay.
Still big.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Like still so big.
In her room, she has. It's very plainly decorated. Like it's. You know, these rooms are generally very well decorated, just in case. Decorations have been taken off. This room it looks very minimalistic, and for the most part, more for function than anything else. You see, there is, plain sheets in the bed. Most of the room's open space is taken by a long table that's been put here that has a series of alchemical glassware, and you can see what looks to be small containers that contain different materials and powders, and it seems like she does her own work here. There are 2 open drums on the side, and there is kind of this very caustic smell to the air. There is a kind of a acerbic tinge to the nose as soon as the room enters. There's just this ever-present, very heavy, kind of almost like a fresh rust smell to the room. She walks to the far end underneath the desk that contains this alchemical setup. She pulls a small chest out.
I watch very carefully.
She brings the chest to the top. She opens it up, and on the inside you can see just some folded clothing. She moves the clothing off to the side. She pulls out what looks like relatively simple leather armor. May I?
Very, very slowly.
That would be creepy, Grog.
Creepy? Creepy? I'm gonna put her through the wall. She moves in the wrong way.
No, I almost killed you in Stillbend.
Really?
Do you remember?
Huh. I didn't know that was you.
I was kind of curious if you had figured it out or not.
No.
Tell you what, I'll hold on to that armor for the time being.
She's like partway into it.
Yeah, you can take it off. We'll put it in the bag of holding. You can put it on after we're done.
She kind of folds the tunic portion of it over the chest piece and hands it to you, pulls out some of the arm braces and leg guards and hands those over as well.
Show me your work.
She goes underneath the chest and she pulls out 2 small glass vials and kind of sets them on the side. She then reaches underneath and pulls up what looks to be a false bottom of the chest. Releases it.
Cute.
At which point she reaches in and pulls out a metallic construction that you all see looks not unlike in shape and purpose as the pepper box that you've seen Percy utilize all this time, though it has only a single barrel. And has a small rotating 4-part chamber to it. It's a little more refined than his construction. And you can see now part of the alchemical setup she has in here actually is, and you recognize this as you get close, part of it is designed in the creation of ammunition and refining the powder that is used by this process. And you see a series of notes that are off to the side that have sketches outlined of your pepper box, though not really accurate, and almost like they were recalled from various individuals that had seen it in person and given accounts of it. She's been keeping a very close log of eyewitness accounts of your weaponry, apparently, for some time.
She's a fangirl.
Yes, she is.
Disappointed. I was expecting something more...
Oh, please.
...imaginative.
You've seen my room, have you not? I prefer function.
Hack.
And she reaches down and
Keep your hands away and step back.
We'll give those to you when it's time to leave.
How am I to defend myself should things go, and pardon my term, ass up?
Are you planning on fighting with us? Helping us?
You say you won't release me until you finish what you're doing here. I assume that what you're doing here is ending the current reign of those who rule this town. I can't assume that's going to end with a conversation.
I lean my head in and say, the Goliath could turn your head into paste now, if you like.
Tell you what, we'll take the weapons and give it to you if we need your help.
Let her have the armor. That's a sign of good faith.
What if it's enchanted armor?
So kind.
And give me your ammunition. And when it's time, I will hand some to you.
So are you leaving here the weapons but no
No,
ammo?
no, I'm taking the weapon.
The weapon's useless.
I don't care.
She gives you the weapon begrudgingly, hands you a pouch about this big that's pretty heavy, containing a series of iron balls inside. You can see there's the various instruments she uses for forging them and crafting them there across the table. She puts her hand out towards you for the armor. She puts it on a little quicker this time because she feels like she had a little victory. She takes a little vial, she puts them in her pocket. She reaches over and grabs a little pouch inside the side with change and kind of puts a little bit of money to the side there.
What are in those vials?
She reaches and pulls one out and shows it to you, and you recognize the color. She goes, "What, do you think you're the only one who doesn't occasionally suffer a wound? I have to look out for myself as well." It's a healing potion, a greater healing potion.
One of them is? Or they both are?
No, the one she pulled out and showed you.
What about the other one?
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Really.
Lest your brains leak out your ears.
She pulls out the other one. This is in case things go really poorly, and I need to uphold my sense of self-preservation.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Convince us to let you keep it.
It allows me to make a fleeting escape on the air as opposed to by foot.
Oh, well then give it to me.
Axe.
And with it, the glass almost shatters with the amount of frustrating force she slams it into your hand.
Careful.
Think
Yeah,
about
but-
how
Glass,
good
darling.
you'll
It's
feel
only
when
stretchy.
you get me to give it back
No
to you.
need to get testy.
So you have a potion of flying in your inventory right now.
Oh,
And God forbid, you'll see how gracious we're feeling when we find Cassandra de Rolo unhurt.
yeah, grog. Grog with the steel.
Ooh, I get a piece of paper.
Shit, potion of flying.
This is awesome.
All right.
Okay, we should
Do you
hurry.
have your shit? Can we get out of here?
Let's get the fuck out of
Yes, everything else here is of no interest to me. She kind of kicks one of the drums on the way out.
Yeah.
And slips back into the hallway.
Anything you could use, Percival?
Is there any more black powder or any? I've taken all of her ammunition and black powder, I suppose. Anything else that looks useful to me?
Make an investigation check.
Is that that's intelligence.
Yeah.
Oh well, hell,
I don't
8.
trust this.
8. You give a quick once over the room. The place is pretty barren. Other than the large drums of what seems like some sort of, 3 inches of some weird caustic substance at the bottom.
I hate what you've done with the place.
It's recurring substance. Like a lot of the vials are based around it, and there's like a recurring theme of this caustic liquid throughout all of her instruments.
We'll have a conversation about what she was trying to do off camera, so I can have a better understanding of it.
What way?
I figure I may poke you later to get a better understanding, just so we don't have to bore other people with like her technical accoutrement. But I would like a better, at some point, an out of character understanding of what I'm looking at, of what I could discern about what I'm looking at.
Okay, or we could have it on camera. It's up
All
to you.
right, no, I just figured it would be. I don't want to I want to kill something tonight, so.
Yeah.
I think
We're
that's
also
gonna...
running out of time.
Exactly.
There are
Percy, let's go.
people fighting right now.
Committed as much to memory as possible, and let's go.
Okay. So.
When we defeat the Briarwoods, you can come back and explore this room.
Yeah,
to
you're
your
gonna move
heart's
back
content.
in.
Touche.
You're gonna move in, so it'll be your place.
All right.
I'll see.
Now to your sister, is it?
That's next.
Up or down?
This would be on the other side of this floor.
Which room?
I think you know the room. And you know that you're not too far from your sister's room, Cassandra.
Really?
They let her keep her room.
See you later. I go stealth.
Okay.
20.
Okay.
No, 23.
Okay.
That spike is amazing.
You guys make your way across the other side of the hallway, back towards the western side of the castle, eventually finding where, not far from where your room was, as well as the rooms of your brother and Cassandra. They're all kind of localized in this one area of the castle, so you were all nearby. She goes straight to Cassandra's room, goes to the door and kind of doesn't touch it yet.
A quick question before I open this door. Am I going to have a violent reaction towards you when I open it?
I certainly hope not.
Good.
I stand right behind her.
I motion to everyone, stay back.
Yes.
Open the door, and I push Dr. Ripley into the room with me behind her.
Okay. As you pull the door open, and you push her in, the room is dark. There is no light. With a little bit of light that peeks in from the hallways and the poorly lit interior of the castle for this time of day, you can see there's her canopy bed. You can see there is her cabinet in the corner, but the room appears to be dark and empty.
Torch.
Are there any wall sconces around, like torch wall sconces on the outside?
I mean, there have a few along the walls that are currently, burnt out at this point and not
dancing
in place.
I take a torch out of the
Burnt out?
bag of holding, and I take the firebrand warhammer, ignite it, and hand the torch to Percy.
Okay. You glance about the room. It's lived in. The actual bed covers themselves are kind of pulled off. You can see there's she has almost like a vanity mirror cabinet in the far corner. It's all put away. The chair's kind of open a little bit like it was stepped out of. The room is absent of anyone.
I walk over to the closet, I open it.
Okay. You open the closet. She has outfits there. Many of them don't appear to be worn in a while.
Looking for signs of life if the paper on the desk is there.
You search your desk?
Yes.
Make an investigation check.
Let's have a real roll. That will do.
That's a really good roll.
That's a natural 20.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
Classic Percy.
All right.
We're just doing this on through Pug, man.
You go through her vanity cabinet and you find there's small gems. They're just little keepsakes of hers, things from her childhood. You do find there is a tattered portrait of her and your brothers and you that appears to be partially burned on one side, that is kind of kept on its own at the bottom of the top shelf. You can see currently it just shows half of your face, her next to you, and your other three brothers to the side. The rest of the family is burned off at the top point. But this was once a portrait that was in one of the hallways that apparently was destroyed in the initial attack, or since then, and she's kept this scrap as some sort of memory and hid it within her cabinet. You also do find a stack of paper, a series of like partially written notes, and a ink and quill that are false stops, letters that were partially written and then were like crossed off, or the mistakes were made, or they never got finished, that are all written to Archibald. And they talk about asking about the general unrest in the city, preparation for a possible coming rebellion, discussing past failures, but the intent to try again. There's a theme through a lot of these notes that this appears to be one of the methods she was using to communicate in the outside of the castle, and has, her role in previous attempts at freeing the people of Whitestone.
She's not here.
Which you see Ripley's also kind of like, well, if she's not here, she's somewhere else in the castle, I assume.
Where would she be?
I don't spend my time wondering or curious about her well-being. I just know that she is usually here.
Anna, I'm going to take a leap of faith and believe, contrary to all evidence, that you're a smart woman. I pull out the gun and I put it to her head. Now, if you were the Briarwoods, where would you put my sister?
An important question here, Percy. Are they keeping her, or is she here on her own volition?
I don't know.
I've got a bad feeling.
And if you don't know, make me believe it.
I know she's not allowed anywhere near the ziggurat, or any of our distillery, so I...
Distillery? I pull the gun away.
She kind of breathes a sigh of relief. That's been largely my project as part of this entire endeavor. Alright, so when I was brought in here, I was tasked to create, to experiment with design and create large amounts of a very, very delicately prepared acidic compound. One that could dissolve the stone of your Whitestone and distill it down into pure residuum. This would allow the bulk creation of very powerful magical essence for use in construction, in materials that we could instill and use, apparently for the ziggurat as well as other such things. Thus, that was my main reason for being here. We were ahead of schedule, and I completed the bulk of our development weeks ago, and I no longer have much of a purpose here.
Ahead of schedule? I'm sorry, I caught that. Hi, by the way, I'm Keyleth. We haven't really talked yet. What schedule were you trying to keep? What was the deadline?
We were trying to create enough continuous acid to develop enough residuum to be used in the reconstruction of the ziggurat. Once I had developed enough of the compound to where we no longer had to create more, my purpose was complete, and I had no interest beyond that. The rest is rich to me.
You're telling me that somewhere in this castle there's a storage facility full of caustic acid that dissolves the very stones of this castle.
Yes.
I reach out and I take out my potion of acid resistance and I drink it.
Okay. Mark that. She goes, yes, if you have seen the vents of greenish fume billowing out in the garden, that's where the distillery exhausts to.
Well,
Oh boy.
this is interesting.
So what's ziggurat? What's it for?
What exactly does it do?
Hurry up. Time's
Yeah,
ticking
we
here.
gotta go. We gotta
Yes,
fight. We gotta do things.
I don't know. It has something to do with the Briarwoods' interest in some third party, someone they've been working with, someone I've not met, someone who I have no interest in inquiring within, it seems.
A name. Give us a name.
I was not given a name. They don't speak of this individual's name. They're very secretive about it. They paid well, they gave me land, they gave me a title, and when things were done, I was to go free, which is why I was not happy in which the predicament you found me made me.
Where can we find this ziggurat?
She kind of, her eyes trailed down to the floor. It's like the ziggurat itself is, well, based on the tunneling structure, the distillery's direction, right beneath the city of Whitestone.
The city or this castle?
City.
They're gonna destroy this fucking city.
Is it underneath the Sundry?
No, not the distillery. Ziggurat might be.
Wait, what?
Oh dear.
They're gonna. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Are they still melting down the Whitestone for magical energy?
No, I don't believe so. Not for weeks. We finished that process. Quite a bit now.
So you're done melting the Whitestone, but you
Yes.
still have a whole bunch of this acidic compound kicking it in a warehouse somewhere.
Well, not in a warehouse. That's all kept
Storage
stored
units.
Underneath the garden of the castle.
We need to finish
Underneath the
clearing this
garden.
house now.
Yes.
I don't know if they're even here.
We better move.
Let's go.
So,
Downstairs.
downstairs.
Oh boy.
You're asking about Anders, though. Do you wish to pay him a visit? You can see a smile on her face.
She's trying to
Not
Percy.
like Anders.
Percy, she's trying to bait you. She's trying to waste time right now. Come on.
Was your sister's keeper?
She's trying to don't list Percy. La 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 la. Percy, come on.
He's
Come
probably
on.
with the Briarwoods.
Let's go.
Come on, he's not there.
I'm off
If-
sitting in the shadows, but I say, Percival, we need to cut off the head.
Is it
of
possible
this-
that my
the
sister would
head
be
of
with
the
him?
Snake.
It's very possible she's not here.
Anna,
Percy.
Yes.
shut up.
Very well.
Percival.
Percy, it's freezing in this
I only
castle.
say
Let's
because
go.
my whole...
Anna, and I notch an arrow and aim it right at her throat. Shut.
He's not capable of making decisions right now.
Percy.
Where would this professor be?
I imagine his study. It's around the corner.
We'll check his study and then we'll go.
Fucking mouth. No.
Just his study and then we'll go.
Percy.
Even if he's there, if she's not there, we'll leave.
Go, lead the way.
No.
We're running out of time.
Brother, run and check the study.
Thank you.
No.
I start running towards the
Jesus.
direction that was described.
Let's go towards the
Self-aware.
under.
He'll
Very
let you
well.
know. He'll let you
Very
know.
well.
Lead the way down.
Very well. And she
No talking.
Wait, we're going down?
Yeah, we're not leaving Vax.
steps out
Heading down. He's gonna catch up.
into the
Step for it.
into the hallway, and she begins making her way towards the landing that leads to the stairway downward as you stealth off in that direction. You find your way around that corner. Go ahead and roll a perception. check.
As I'm moving, by the way, it's minor, but I take out Clarota's metallic cap and put it on, and I also
Cap
whip
of
out this
calamari.
other cloak that I've been looking at and
What is that
whip
cloak?
it around. You're not
Alright.
here. And now
So we'll both
continue
attune to you at your next short rest.
Yes.
Oh,
All right.
damn it.
Excellent. It's fine.
Wait,
Okay.
you've worn Clarota's thing before?
Not that.
There's two
There's
things.
two things.
So moving forward.
All right. Make a perception check.
Yeah. That is 22.
All right. As you make your way down the hallway, you hear what sounds like a muffled female voice from behind a distant doorway.
I'm still
Like a small cry in pain or worry.
Oh
to
no.
stealth again, or am I already stealthed?
You rolled stealth
Yeah.
before this whole
Yeah, it was like 23
Yeah.
before. So I'm going to move toward that sound
Okay.
carefully.
Okay. It leads down. There are 3 doorways on this side of the hallway. The central door there is where you hear the noise coming from.
Okay, I'm sticking my ear to the door and I'm gonna listen for a full minute to see what I hear.
You hear a little bit of quiet and a light sobbing. Then you hear another voice, a male voice, an older voice, just say roughly, "Shh! You be quiet until you're told to speak. We should be close."
I want to gently try the door handle. Shut the fuck up.
It is not locked. It does turn.
I want to push it like 1 inch in and try to peek in.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Don't.
I'm having deja vu.
All right.
No, we've been here before.
You glance inside the room, and it's a nice study. And there's a fireplace on one side that is part of a continuation of a 2-story, fireplace column that goes up to the castle on this side. There are shelves of books. There is a desk in the far corner. There are a couple of chairs laid around. On this side, what you can see, and you can see kind of in the center to the back of the room, is an older gentleman wearing a breastplate. You can see his very, very short gray hair, a little bit of facial hair that's grown in but not to a full beard. It looks just like it's been left to go on its own for a little while. And he's currently holding a young woman, roughly early 20s or so, with dark brown hair with a couple of streaks of kind of white through the sides of the temple, holding her by her hair with a dagger to her throat and saying, "Shh! Shh! Now, when I tell you, you'll say what I told you to say. Got it?" And you just tears streak down her face. She's like,
I back up about 5 steps and very quietly say, Jenga.
I start running.
And I run at the door and
Yeah.
I kick it open and throw it in.
Yeah! Well, that happened.
okay.
Holy shit.
Well, that happened.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
God, so we take off running towards him.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yes.
Jenga. Fucking asshole.
Dick.
It's a trap. It's such a trap.
Oh, of course.
All right. So, so you have a surprise round.
Yeah.
Come on, sneak attack.
2 of those individuals right there. Go ahead and make your attack.
Well, what am I looking at?
Okay, so as you burst in, you can see the man's holding it. There's the desk behind him, right there. Papers and stuff scattered on there. There's some tables around with some chairs. There are these large bookshelves that kind of hold this side, and there's the fireplace in the far corner right there.
Yes.
Flames kind of warming the room. There's a small chandelier on the ceiling that has magical light emanating from it that kind of give the room this kind of warm glow. You don't care right now because you're throwing a fucking dagger.
Right, but he's behind her a bit, right?
Yeah, he's like holding her right there with the dagger.
You've
Gotta
got
have
good
good
aim.
fucking aim.
Well, I recently added the sharpshooter feat, so 3/4 and half cover means nothing to me.
Correct.
So I'm gonna aim for his eye that's peeking out the side. All 3 are going right at his eye.
Okay.
What was the first? The
Ooh,
first
that's good.
is 24.
That'll hit.
Okay. The second is 26. As you can tell, I've been screaming monster sounds. My voice is a little ragged. 26 on the second.
Hits.
It's like playing with tongue.
And 16 on the third.
Yeah.
16 misses.
Okay. So the
first
first
two strike
one
through.
gets 3 plus 7 is 10 plus 14, 20, 26, 29, 33, 39. That's the first one. And then the second one does 4 plus 6 is 10. Oh, but it's surprise. So the first one is doubled because it's automatically a crit. Yes.
All right. So what's that now?
It was 39.
Yeah.
So now it's 60, 78.
78.
For the first one. And 10 for the second.
I love you.
Okay. So 88 points of damage. You just went 80 miles per hour in your first round. As you kick the doors open, the first dagger, he sees it coming towards him for a second and attempts to dodge out of the way. And as he moves this eye out of the way, the dagger right into the slot, and he screams out "Ah!" in pain as it just plunges into his eye socket. Not deep enough to actually hit any brain, but enough to definitely take that eye out as any sort of viable method. The second one just hits him in the shoulder, and reaction to that, Cassandra screams out, "No! Run, it's a trap!" At which point, he takes his dagger and just runs it across her throat.
I don't think it's her. It's not.
You just see crimson begin to pour down the front. Go ahead and roll initiative.
All right. I'm gonna do luck. Yeah.
If we're not
That's
actually
20.
Why would she be saying it's a trap if it's not her?
Could be a peasant.
No.
All right. Okay. So, you're going first?
Yeah.
Also, at this point, as you throw the dagger, you're still in there at the doorway, and you hear what sounds like two sources of metal clanking together. You can't really, you can't see a source, but you hear other sounds in the room. What are you doing with your action?
I am running at him.
Yeah,
and
go on in.
stabbing the shit out of him.
Learning nothing
Okay.
from the past.
As you cross this boundary, I need you to go ahead and
Oh no.
Yeah.
immediately make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. I'll use luck again. Yeah.
It's 2 lucks.
That's 17 for the Constitution saving throw.
Great. All right. So as you step across the threshold of the room, the tile in front of you all of a sudden bursts in a flash of blue, painfully cold energy, like there's a concentrated moment of shredding ice.
To use evasion for that.
You can,
Yeah.
technically.
So if I succeed, I take no damage.
Correct. Okay, so you take no damage. You dart across, just managing to use that momentum and your intensity towards this horrible moment that just happened before you, and you feel the explosion happen behind you. You just managed to pass beyond it. So you rush forward to him.
Yeah.
All right. And he's like dropped her to the ground now. She's fallen onto her hands and knees.
So she's still alive.
I'm going into his guts.
Okay.
So first attack is 25, second attack is a 20, and the third attack is a 26.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
And I'm gonna turn the poison on for the poison dagger, which I'm gonna use for the second. So
Just flip the little
Just
switch.
turn it on. Yeah.
2 is not it just drips.
It's
okay.
like a pencil, mechanical pencil.
So
Just
9
like
for
a
the
line.
first. 2 plus 6 is 8 for the second. Plus the poison is shit. I didn't copy it down here. I think it's 1d12. Let's say it's 1d12 because I can't remember. If anyone wants to correct me, they can. 5 points of poison added to the 5 is 13, and then the last dagger is 3 plus is 9.
Okay. So as you rush up to him and just like shank him repeatedly in the sides, the breastplate's deflecting part of the blow, but you're managing to find openings in the side, and you go for a shoulder and jam it underneath his arm, like through his ribcage, and he screams out, "No!" in pain. And you can see there's like blood pouring outside of his mouth. And he still has the dagger's returned now, but there's this giant, gaping, bleeding wound on the side of his face where one of his eyes is completely ruined. He looks both surprised, angered, and very, very confused about the way things suddenly happened.
Hello.
All right, so that's your turn.
It. I'm out.
Okay, he's gonna go. God damn it! All right.
We're 6 seconds in.
Right.
Paladin.
First off, the two.
Yeah.
There were 2 sets of armor, decorative armor, on the sides of the wall that suddenly have filled with some sort of reddish arcane energy that gives them a solid physical form, and they both stepped off their pedestals and begin making their way towards you. But before all that happens, Professor Anders in front of you, wounded and not looking terribly happy at the moment, is going to use his action to attempt to cast Confusion on you.
Okay.
So he goes to step back and just releases his hand in front of you as one functioning eye forward as he screams out. You can feel the pressure towards your head. Go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
In which I have advantage because
You
of
do.
course.
Well, you have wisdom saving throw because of that anyway, so.
8. So that is 20.
A 20. The effect shrugs off. Nothing on you. He is going to attempt to step back.
Oh, attack him!
So
Hit him!
Yeah, you take an opportunity on him.
There's a 26. No, it's 22.
22. Okay, that does it.
Bink. 8.
Okay. He will use his bonus action, and he kind of. Let me take my damage real fast. Okay. Takes a bonus action. He steps back. Come, take this inspiration to defeat my foe.
Oh.
And he lends an inspiration
bard?
dice to one of the armored creatures stepping forward towards you. Now it's their turn. Both these armored creatures pull out swords and they lift up the shields that they had at their side, and they rush into you from two sides right there. They're both kind of, you notice as they rush up to you, they're not really touching the ground, they're kind of gliding across it. So the first one is going to attempt to strike you with 2 of attacks of its longsword. That is a 14.
No.
Second one is a 17.
No.
All right. The second one now is going to go ahead and take 2 swings at you. That is a 18.
Yeah, but I'll use uncanny dodge.
To reduce the damage by half?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first strike hits you for 13 points of slashing damage.
So half that, or all of that?
That'd be half that.
Half that. Okay,
So-
I'll say 7.
There we go. And then, that's going to be a 24 to hit.
That hits, yeah.
And this is not halved. This, okay, it's 12 points of slashing damage on that one.
All right.
From the sets of armor.
Okay. Now to Cassandra's turn. She is on the ground, like kind of clutching out as she's just spilling out her life essence into the ground. She's clutching at her throat and is like, you hear that horrible sucking sound of her, feeling her life drain from her. She's going to. She is not unconscious, but she doesn't have long for this world. All right, that brings us to the top of the round. The rest of you guys are now rushing. I assume dash motion, making your way as fast as you can to that side. Due to distance, you would all get to the end of this hallway, about there. We'll say.
Is that including sprint?
Well, the dash action, yeah.
That's the full dash.
This is your movement and then dash action that getting you guys, because you guys were down in this area heading down the stairs, and you just made it up and over. And this is Ripley. We'll use that for Ripley for now. So, everyone else roll initiative. We're in a new combat round.
What the hell?
Marilyn.
Oh! Percy's pissed! Natural 20.
I Percy'd again.
He Percy'd.
Who got him that dice?
Golden
Just saying.
Snitch is
Thank
powerful.
you.
No, I was on group hug last week with somebody else's dice, and it was comedy.
It's just you, Taliesin.
Yeah, thank you.
You are the anti-Wheaton. Like,
I'm the anti-Wheaton. So
if you guys were to play in the same group, like all RPGs would fold into themselves and no longer exist. It's like the end of Time Cop. It would be terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so initiatives we have 25 to 20,
28.
28,
21.
21. Yeah, you remember your advantage for them.
That was the second roll.
All right, so Percy is the
Feral instinct.
All right, and you were at your initiative was 20.
I don't remember. 20 was 20, early 20s.
Early 20s, yeah. So it'd be Facts.
Ow!
20 to 15.
13.
19.
19.
Oh, wait, sorry. Might have jumped the gun a bit there. I'm excited. Sorry. I'm bringing up the ranks anyway, I still think. It's fine.
Keyleth. All right. Vax, what'd you get?
11.
11?
I'm Vax.
I know.
You said Vex.
I said Vax.
Oh, Vax.
I got it right this time.
Oh, you're from California.
Yeah.
I came from Florida. All right. And,
You're Vax.
all right, so Percy, you're up first.
The backs, the backs.
Can I drag Ripley with me?
You can be moving half movement. technically
Beaver.
you would be
Somebody else.
So as my
Yes.
bonus action before anything happens, I'm
Knock her out.
Punch her in the
I'm
fucking
going
face.
to tell her she lives. You show us where the entrance to the caverns are. You walk with your things. And run.
all right.
She was trying to set us up in this trap.
Oh yeah, she's all
fully
about
on
this
their
fucking
side.
shit.
Full movement.
Full movement.
Okay, that's your full turn there. All right, that ends your turn.
She's
Proceed.
not gonna leave without her shit.
You're up.
I have one healing potion left, and I'm gonna take it and stick it into this girl's mouth and empty it, and maybe drip a little on her neck as well.
Okay, go for it.
Maybe you hold her neck.
Do I
make
need
sure
to
it's down.
I get to roll the heat.
roll? So it's.
You have to roll like to get it to you. She's like you pull back, and it's a really unsettling thing as you like pull up her head to try and feed her the potion. Like kind of opens the
Got it.
door.
Oh god.
Go ahead and
It's 2d4 or what is it?
is this a regular healing potion?
Yeah, regular. It's the lowest of the
Then
run.
yeah, that'd be
Splurge or
Moderate. I
anything.
think it's called moderate.
sorry, I have it right here. That's
Moderate?
2d4 plus 2.
Which is for a 6.
Went very
Six,
Hannibal
okay.
on us very quickly.
And then I want to step in front of her, between her and that one, and then stab the one.
Okay. As you take the potion, it's a messy process. You get most of it, or some of it like drips in the ground, but you manage to get it. The wound seems to close. All the blood kind of just goes away on the ground around her neck from the splashing of the potion. It just vanished entirely, and you can see she kind of
Good. That's good.
she's right on the edge, but she's looking pretty rough.
So is that the bonus action or is that the action?
That was your action.
Action. Okay. So then, by the way, I'm realizing I didn't click my boots. So I did like 1, 2, 3 before, and the third one missed. So luckily that worked out. But I've only
point.
got.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Thank you
clicking
for the
those.
reminder.
So I just.
So I used to dagger. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
no, it's not the point.
So I just step between them, and that's all I can do. Yeah.
Okay, so you move into there. Great. That's your turn.
No, I mean between her and the closest one to her.
Oh
yeah, we've got this new thing
Yeah,
now.
the little
That's so much.
TV.
That's
Yeah.
so much better.
Handy.
It's kind of hard. Yeah, for those who don't know, we
There's
actually
not room,
we have
okay.
a top-down camera for the players, which is really helpful for them to do.
What's
all right.
going on?
So you move.
I was hoping to stand in front of her.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay.
So you kind of like push her aside and get in between the two. Okay. Cool. That ends your turn. Grog, you're up.
Dead sprint after Percy.
Okay, and your speed is
50.
Goosh, goosh, goosh,
Thump,
goosh.
thump, 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 thump.
Whoa!
Yeah!
What's up, Grog?
Get
I
it?
mean,
So-
you can get all the way up into here, but that's all you can do this turn.
Okay.
Yeah. So you just you're bounding down the hall. You kind of push past Percy and just rush in the room, and you see a young girl on the ground, kind of doubled over, like barely conscious. You see Vax stepping in front of one of these like weird glowing armored creatures. And in the back of the room, there's a man with bleeding, gaping eye socket.
What the fuck did you do?
Welcome to the party.
All right, Scanlan, you're up.
I'm up. I run as fast as my little legs will take me. It's 25.
There we go.
And then I can't see them, so I'll just inspire. Who's gonna get in there now? Who's behind me? Keyleth and.
If you dash, you can double it.
Keyleth and Vex are behind
Can I inspire people that I can't see?
I think you have to be in your sight.
You can see me.
I can.
So whether or not
You
you
can also
actually
see
want
people
to
back here. 'cause
inspire
you
me
have a
at
little
this
bit of a
point
corner
is
view. You
definitely
can like lean
debatable.
back and inspire somebody else in the hallway if you'd like.
All right. They can't even make it in the next turn, right?
No, but I mean, we'll keep it.
Sure. I will inspire Vex behind me, and I'll say, arrows and bows they fire at our foes and kill them, and they make them ghosts. They won't let go. Arrows and bows.
As the beat hits you, you feel yourself a little bit more sure shot in any areas you seem to think.
Nice.
Take your D10 inspiration die.
Right.
Forearms go.
Alrighty. So, that brings us to. Alright. Professor Anders now is taking his turn.
Professor Anders.
He is going to.
Professor Anders.
Mr. Anders.
He sees this giant creature in the room kind of looming, and he goes, reaches up and kind of closes up one eye and goes, "You do this for me." And as he looks at you for a second, he kind of releases another spell, and you feel a familiar arcane grasp begin to curl over the back of your mind. Go ahead and roll a wisdom saving throw with advantage because of your hero's feast.
Right. Okay.
Come on, baby. One more time.
14.
14. Your brain, not tempered against these type of magics, and having previously failed before, you feel your will no longer become your own, as now you are an instrument of destruction controlled by one Professor Anders.
Oh,
You
no.
have been dominated.
Damn it!
Oh, no. Dominate Goliath.
We gotta kill that motherfucker. Ah!
Okay.
Everyone's favorite.
You basically tell it.
puppet.
I mean, it looks to you and goes, "Kill that one!" And points to Vax. And you look down at Vax with a grin, as now the bloodletting you've wanted so bad, your target lies before you.
Hulk versus Wolverine!
Ending Anders' turn.
Remember what he did to your beard.
It's like
This one
great.
moves over.
I know. Is it me
this side.
grinning or is it dominating?
Moves to here.
Hulk versus Wolverine,
Both
man.
of
I'm
these
excited by that.
Floors
good.
move and shift around now at this moment to get on each sides of you, giving them both a flanking bonus. Now it's 4 strikes longsword against you with advantage. Double 8s, can't roll.
Why
Shit.
advantage? I'm just curious.
Was it?
Give it to me, but what's the advantage from?
Oh,
So
'cause
they
he-
have advantage against you because they move into a flanking position.
Because they're in flanking. Got it.
Which, for those who are curious about it, it is an optional rule in the DMG. It exists. Second attack with advantage. 3 and a 4. Can't roll.
Whoa!
This guy just whiffs with both of his weapon strikes. This armor not as cool as you
Yeah, you're
think.
sucking his energy.
I have your power.
Natural 20 on the next strike.
Oh, you
And
fucking spoke too soon.
2 natural 20s.
Damn it!
It was
Why
it was
did you
a miss
say
and a natural 20 on the first attack, and then natural 20 on the advantage first roll of the second attack.
Damn it!
So,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Spoke too soon.
so
man.
you take on the first
up from
hit.
now on.
Mock fate.
Bring it.
Fate punches you in the mouth.
Coffee.
That would be
Going down.
16 points of slashing damage, and 20 points of slashing damage with the second strike. So a total of 36 points of slashing damage. And you can feel like this strange, angry, vibrating growl coming from within this kind of unhallowed armor that floats before you. That ends there. Go, Keyleth, you're up.
I'm running like hell.
Very simple.
Runny.
So you're
Can I
running-
can I see? Can I peek around the corner
You can
just to see?
just peek around the corner and see the circumstance.
Can I see Cassandra?
You do, yes.
Healing word.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Do you know it's her?
Yeah. Either way, whoever it
Know
is.
what she looks like?
Just do what you're gonna
Just
do.
do it.
Okay.
Healing word.
Family resemblance.
Yeah.
Family
I'd say, given
resemblance.
the circumstances, you have an inkling that, someone's in danger there. And the calling of Jenga. So,
yes.
go for it.
I'll cast it. No, I'm just gonna keep it at a first level for now. I'm gonna save my higher level ones for legit cure wounds.
Good.
So I'm just gonna cast it at first level. So that's 1. 1d4 plus my spellcaster.
Oh.
3. That's not too bad. Plus 6. Plus my sorry. So 16. No, sorry, 13.
13, okay. Good to know. Alrighty. That's your turn. Vex, you're up.
So I'm with Anna. Trinket, I tell him to hold on to her and drag her along with us.
Okay.
So he clamps down on her
Up
arm.
1, 2. He's going to attempt to grapple her. Go ahead and roll an athletics check. With advantage
jeez.
because she's not expecting it.
16.
Okay. Trinket grabs onto the scruff of her coat and begins pushing forward. They both get the rest half of his movement as he's forcing her forward. That's as far as they can get.
But I can keep running.
Correct.
I can run all the way up.
What's your speed? Is it 30?
30.
Oh. You get about there, right at the edge.
So I can shoot an arrow.
No, that's
burn
your
your
movement and then your dash action
Oh,
to
okay,
get there.
cool. Then I'm just, hey.
All right. Ripley is just going to kind of stay put for the time being. She's held by a bear and being pushed along. She's just kind of like,
No weapons and
no weapon.
no armor.
Leather armor, basically.
Leather armor, yeah.
Did we chain her to the bear?
No, the
No,
bears.
the trigger's
You're
on her.
up.
Trigger. Right.
He's sunken into his
Percy.
arm.
Right.
I'm going to run in. How I can move 6, right?
You can move 6 squares, yes.
1, 2. Can I get a good view of Professor Anders and maybe get a little cover from the dining room table?
You can a little bit, yeah.
All right. I'll take my cover. I'm going to pull out.
As you walk in, you look in the corner, you can see these armor attacking Grog as axe forward. There's these 2 armored entities kind of floating in the air. You see Anders in the corner, clutching hand over one eye with blood streaking on the face, a number of wounds bleeding out from the armor. Already been a rough take for him, and your eye slows down, and for the first time in a long time, you see on the ground before you, kind of clutching her throat, no wound or blood splatter, but clutching her throat and kind of breathing heavily, your sister Cassandra. And you look back up at Anders, and you feel the burning rage begin to billow up inside you. And as you walk in the room towards the center of the table, you guys who see this, are able to see the room, you see now from outside of his sleeves, outside from under his coat, there's just blackish purple smoke beginning to just billow out from behind.
Does it seem more extreme than it has been in the past?
It seemed pretty extreme in the past. It just started, you don't know.
Okay.
Go for it.
I pull off my hat of disguise, drop it on the floor.
Okay.
And I'm going to just unload at that motherfucker.
As you pull off the hat, your image shifts fully to Percy, at which point Anders kind of looks back and sees this source of smoke and glances over. His hand falls away as a moment of realization, eye goes wide. Percy.
Shot 1.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, for the love of God!
Oh, when it counts.
Oh.
Pew!
Aha. So, the anger and frustration, the rage inside you pull up your gun, and as you go to fire, the bullet gets caught in the chamber, and it almost ejects the entire barrel from the front of it. It's not too difficult to repair, but it definitely upsets the current flow.
I'm going to attempt to repair it really quickly. Trying to remember how to do that, because I hate it. DC equals 10 plus firearm misfire score, so...
Is it an action or is it an attack too? Should say under the...
Action, shit.
Yeah, so you have to use your next turn to try and repair it.
So I'm just going to sit and scream a little bit. And I'm going, so...
Okay, you can see that this whole, this moment here as the smoke pours out from the front of the gun, you yell out angrily, and there is this kind of unnatural bassy reverb from your scream that shakes the room, and Anders actually takes a step back from this and is like looking about the room and finds himself basically trapped in the far corner of his study.
Oh, you better not.
That ends your turn.
It's my turn.
Vex.
I'm going to use disengage.
Okay.
And I'm going to hop over Cassandra towards Anders and stab him in the other eye.
Okay.
First attack's 21.
That hits.
Second attack is 17.
That hits.
Okay. 10 on the first.
Okay.
10 on the second.
Okay, let's make concentration checks to see if you can maintain his dominate. Against 10 damage, that succeeds. And yeah, that succeeds. So he maintains concentration of the spell, but both daggers, you run up and just kind of stab him, this angry grunt under your breath with each stab, and you can feel like the armor itself is now warm with the pooling blood from the wounds that you gave him before. He's looking pretty rough.
Question? I asked if I could hit the eye. Did I hit the eye?
Unfortunately, no. It's one of those things where a sneak attack would be like an eye shot on this one. You go and try and stab towards the eye, and he pulls away, kind of knowing what's coming, and you use that inertia to then jam it into his side and then stab a second time in there. So yeah, no purchase in the eye, unfortunately.
Okay. And I'm squared off right in front of him.
Just right in front of him. That ends your turn. Grog.
So when you're dominated, is that being charmed?
Essentially, you have to follow his orders. He's not directly, specifically controlling you right now, but he told you attack him. So you have to use all the things at your disposal to now attack him.
Bring it.
Okay.
So-
I can't try and break the domination or rage.
Nope. You get a saving throw at the end of your turn.
I'm not raging.
You're not raging.
So I only get
That's
2.
good.
That was good.
1. You step over Cassandra, kind of stepping on the back of her leg, and find your way right there, which is flanking him between Anders. So you have advantage on both of your attacks.
Shit.
A 3.
Okay, that's good.
21.
Yeah.
Second attack.
26.
Both hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
I'm really trying not to enjoy this.
With your flaming warhammer.
I hate you. You're a terrible person.
18 for the first one.
10 points of slashing damage. No, so bludgeoning damage for the
bludgeoning with
yeah.
the
The fire on top
and
of that.
fire.
I'll wait till after this. I'll take one.
21.
21 points of bludgeoning and fire damage for the second strike.
I am on my feet, but I am swaying back and forth.
Unexpectedly, these two titanic slams hit you from behind. The first one throws you into Anders for a second. Anders then pushes you away, and as you kind of are still reeling from the impact, you look up and see the hammer come down. Whack! You move your head at a time, preventing you from being squished, but the impact hits your shoulder and the side of your neck, and your whole body crumples into itself. You cry out in pain instinctively, just from the hit, and your whole world kind of blurs for a second as you're barely keeping yourself on your feet. Grog, that ends your turn. You can make another saving throw with advantage to try and shrug the effect.
Yeah. At wisdom, right?
Yes.
19.
19. With that, the momentary controlled bloodshed fades. Your mind becomes your own. And what little bit of remorse you may feel for the battered Vax in front of you, you can't help but laugh a little bit. But then you turn your attention to the one who bent your will, and your rage begins to swell up inside you. So that ends your turn. Scanlan, you're up.
I continue my long journey into the room.
Just get past there, and you can
There
see
and
into the
back
room. You
again.
have visual on, pretty much everything in the room from there.
I have to make a ranged shot if I'm to do anything.
Correct, yeah.
What do I see? Can I see how rough Vax is? Can I see?
At a glance, it's kind of hard to tell from this moment.
I'm bleeding out my mouth.
He's also facing away from you.
Looks
He's facing
normal to
Anders.
me.
You see Grog and Vax facing off the guy in the corner. You see two of these large armored entities that are...
Okay, I'll go for them.
Okay.
Wand of magic missiles, and I'll shoot 3 at the one at the left. That's the first charge, and then use 3 additional charges on the one at the right.
How many charges were restored in the wand from your last long rest?
When I roll every day,
Yep.
and I restored 5, and I had used 5, and so
Perfect,
it's
awesome,
back to
cool.
normal. So I have
All right.
7 total.
So you're casting 3 on one, and then...
An additional 3 on the other.
Okay, go for it. So that's
Right.
3d4 plus 3 to each one. Go for it.
Right. 3d4. Okay. 4.
Releasing the wand, and both flicks of your wrist, you can see these bursts of arcane energy swirl around and slam into each one of these creatures.
3d4 plus 3? Is that right? Is that how it works, man?
Yes.
Okay. So 5, so that's 8. Lame. And 9. No, wait. 2, 2, 2. Yes, 9. 9.
Okay.
That's
All right. The impact, you see the armor kind of shake for a second and look angered and frustrated for what a faceless kind of arcane entity within armor could, and both heads just go and look in your direction simultaneously.
Oh boy.
That ends your turn.
Oh, and I will inspire Grog. This is the dawning of the age of Agrogius. Age of Agrogius. Agrogius.
10.
The words are lost on you, but it's a nice theme. You take D10, yeah.
Not quite my jam, but I'll still take it.
All right, that ends your turn. Anders, now frustrated by the whole circumstance and on the cusp of a really, really bad circumstance, is going to attempt to cast Dimension Door.
I knew it. I knew he was gonna do that.
Is this the same? Do I get an attack of a reaction attack?
Not unless you have, there's a feat that lets you do that.
No.
Yeah, I think it's Mage Slayer if you don't have
I
that.
don't have that.
Okay. All right.
Do I see him?
Yeah, you see him.
Do you have counterspell?
I take out my broken shawm, and I and I cast counterspell on him.
Right, because you took that with your last
took it.
level.
That's right.
Yeah!
Smart.
All right. Oh,
Get away.
Lord Bards. Shit. All right.
Wait, I have to tell a level, don't I?
Yeah, you can tell me what level. It can be base
Do I
level.
know, because he's a bard,
You
what
know-
he's doing?
You know, you're very familiar with the spell, and it is a 4th level spell.
Then I cast it at 4th level.
Okay. Then there is no roll. With that, he takes a moment to finish casting. You see there's a moment where this bit of purple arcane energy, familiar to most of you as Scalen's escapes, begins to sparkle behind him, and as he goes to step into it, the Sham streaks out in the room. He kind of reaches up and covers his eye as it almost seems to like be shrill to his head and cause the pain to pulse, and the doorway just slams behind him, and he's
That door is locked, motherfucker. Get used to it, because I am.
yeah, that's his turn.
Yes!
That was his action. He's going to use a bonus action instead to say like, "Come to my aid, quickly!" He's going to put another inspiration die to the other armor. And that's going to end his turn. It's now their turn. They are both going to come around. This one's just going to move around Grog. No attack opportunity because it's still in your melee. This one's going to step into, push from over here. This one's going to turn and go for Percy. Sees this billion as you're stuck there trying to fix the gun, and she's rushing towards you with its shield forward. It's like a horrible, jagged longsword in the air, arcing towards you. 2 strikes versus you. That'll be a 19.
That hits.
Okay. First strike, you take. That is 9 points of slashing
Down.
damage. So you go down. Second strike, because it's still going for you.
Yeah.
Hits automatically. It's an auto critical. You fail 2 death saving throws.
That's it?
That ends its turn. This one is now going for you, Percy. First strike. That would be a 9.
No.
It's going to use its inspiration die to add 9 to that. It's 18.
18?
Yep.
That's my armor class.
Bards. Sorry, I don't get to use them very often. So that is 11 points of slashing damage. And the other strike, oh, that's a natural 18. So yeah, that will be cocked. Only 8 points of slashing damage.
So 19 points of slashing damage total?
And it's,
I don't even.
it's painful, but not a huge thing about it at this point. You're so focused
really
right now on
distracted
the weapon.
right
and
now.
All right, that ends their turn. Keyleth, you're up.
Okay, can I see Vax down? Is he, which one is he on the ground?
Vax is right there. You just see him get slashed from behind, fall to the ground, and you see it raise a blade again and like jam it into his torso, pull it out, and there's a streak of blood that just spatters across the ceiling from the force of the arc.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you saw that.
Okay. So I'm gonna move around, just kind of tuck in the door a bit.
Okay, so you move in and you see this. As you rush into the room, you see this arc happening.
Can I kind of tuck, kind of right here? God, I'm shaking. Right behind that door.
Right there? Yeah, that'll be pretty much your movement to get there.
Okay, I'm gonna duck down, kind of crouch on the floor. I'm gonna cast, first I'm going to, God, I'm so nervous. I'm going to use Healing Word on Vax.
Yes.
Okay.
And heal that motherfucker. And,
At what level?
You're like down.
He's down.
Right?
Unconscious.
Down.
And I just the rules. So like there wasn't
more,
even any
that's it.
rolls for that, right?
No.
If you're unconscious and a creature hits you, you automatically fail
They
a
automatically
death saving
fail.
throw because if it's a critical hit, which if you're unconscious, a hit is an automatic critical, it's technically 2 death saving
Yeah, and
throws.
just to understand, you can tell me the break, but then where do the 3 rolls come in?
How
do
If
you
nobody
ever-
hits
if when it
you.
comes to your
Oh, if
turn,
nobody hits you.
yeah, if
Got it,
nobody
got it.
hits you and it's your turn, then you roll to see if you go
Got
down.
it.
But if something keeps hitting you while you're down, it can kill you pretty quick.
Got it.
Like 2 hits.
But he's just at 0 hit points, so whatever I bring will bring him over, correct?
Yeah, and your death saves go away. It's,
Yeah.
it's per turn, per time you go down.
Okay, I'm just gonna do a level 1 Healing Word for right now.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Yes, which gives you 12 hit points. And then I'm going to use my bonus action to cast Grasping Vine.
Okay.
And I am going to take the vine and I'm going to wrap it around.
source?
Huh?
Which source?
Next to me,
Okay, so like right here.
I guess.
Okay.
Yes.
So out of the wood, a vine kind of, or it's not wood actually. This would be stone wall. So out of a crack in the wall, a little bit of material begins to form into a giant vine that forms next to you. And what are you doing with it?
I want to wrap it around Cassandra's feet, or like her ankle, and I want to pull her toward me.
You pull her over to the side, and she kind of gets pulled across the ground, and she's like on her back now, looking up. Her eyes are a little starry-eyed, but she's like looks very confused, and is like her eyes are still adjusting to the whole circumstance.
And I say, "Hi, just hang on," and that's my turn.
Yep. All right, Vex, you're up.
Okay, so I saw him go down.
Yes.
Does it look like he's awake now to me? I mean, it's all happening
You
very
have no
quickly.
idea. This happens very quickly, and you just saw your brother like get.
I scream and I run towards him.
Okay.
I like slide down on my knees and like slide across the room and try to like cast healing words the minute, or cast cure wounds the minute I get to it.
You won't get close enough to do it, unfortunately. with your
If I
full-
slide down and slide,
Make an acrobatics check. I'll, for this circumstance, due to the circumstances with your brother being on the ground, I'll let this be a little more intense.
oh god, it's
With
like
inspiration.
with inspiration. That is
Not much more.
Wait, hold on.
Acrobatics.
Acrobatics?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. So 8 plus 9, 17.
17?
17. All right. With that, you rush forward, just seeing like this tunnel vision image of Vax on the ground, blood pooling under his form. You dart forward, slam on your knees, and begin preparing the spell as you skid across the stone floor of the study. You reach out, and your hands meet his form, kind of stopping you in the process, just as the surge of healing energy jolts through his body. So you can go ahead and cast it on him.
Okay. So I'm gonna cast that at 3rd level. So that's 3d8. Where are my d8s?
Don't fuck with me.
That was the worst roll! 9!
So you heal 9 hit points.
That's good.
It's okay, because I slid you.
That's what it was amazing. I'll never forget it.
Alright.
Okay. That's your turn.
Yeah, and Trinket keeps dragging
Go
her.
forward. Okay. That ends your turn. All right. Go ahead and roll an athletics check for Trinket.
Hold on, the bitty bot.
Right. Okay. I'm just gonna count it even though it slipped out of my hand. 7, 8.
8. Okay. Trinket holding on to the scruff of Ripley's neck. Ripley then tugs away from the grip, reaches into the pouch they had earlier. As a bonus action, throws down a small rock that fills this entire tunnel here with a 20 by 20 fog cloud, apparently. And now that she's disengaged, she's going to 1, 2,
She's smoke bombed out.
5, 6.
She ain't got no weapons.
Nope.
Should get that rock past us.
Trinket does get attack of opportunity on her. She runs
Yeah,
past.
Trinket does. Come on, Trinket.
Alright. He's gonna bite her. Can he cannonball her as an attack of opportunity?
Nah, unfortunately
No,
not.
not so much?
Nah, sorry.
9.
9. All right.
Oh, wait. Oh, no, I've got to roll for attack first, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, she rolled a.
That was not what I was doing. So, that's 21.
That hits you.
Okay, good. That's way better.
She has
Okay.
no armor.
Wait. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. What is going on? I never attacked a trinket. Oh, that's 13.
Okay, got it.
Cautionary tale in there
She
somewhere.
runs past. Trinket is currently now. The whole area is obscured for Trinket. Trinket, for the moment, really has no idea really where she went as she rushed past and bit out in there, and is like now giving out this kind of notification growl sound. But in the chaos right now, it's not catching your attention as your brother nearly died before you.
Right.
All right, that ends her turn. Percy, you're up.
I'm going to break. First off, I'm going to fix my gun.
Okay, so go ahead and make your roll.
I'm going to make my roll. Come on. What do I have to roll? Your skill ability check difficulty equals 10 plus 100. I hit the difficulty. Does that
You hit
mean-
it, and you succeed.
Oh!
So as you sit there with the creature lemming at you, reach down, you manage to bend it back into place. You get it aligned as best as you can.
If that had been
that's your action,
a
though.
slightly bigger fuck up, that would have been. Oh god. Okay.
So your gun's functional, but that's your action.
I'm gonna use an action surge anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Ah, yes, you are. Okay.
I'm gonna break off from this guy, and I'm gonna rush towards Professor.
Okay. Get some attack of opportunity
Go ahead.
on you.
Don't care.
That's a 14.
Yeah.
So you duck under it, like it instinctually comes towards you. Just eyes forward, duck underneath the blade.
I push him in the face. I don't
Okay,
care.
you get right up to there, and you can see Anders now, like backing away as you approach. Like
I'm gonna unload in him.
Hi. Go for it.
That's 21 to hit.
That hits.
That's 25 to hit.
That hits.
That's natural 20.
There's Percy.
What the fuck?
So
Anti-Wheaton.
that's okay. Let's see. That's it's 11.
Okay.
14.
Alrighty.
And
This is the critical.
yep, this is the critical, which is a
Double dice.
7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20 with fire damage.
Okay. How do you want to do this?
Yeah.
How close to
Couldn't
him
be
do
more
I
perfect
get?
with that.
Godfather.
You were.
And this was out without smoke damage, I might add.
You can get one more step up there. You can like take the shots as you're stepping towards him, like unloading.
Oh
as
yeah,
you
I'm
go.
unloading as I walk towards
So
him.
the first one like blasts out the shoulder. You can see the bone kind of exposed, the metal breastplate just sundered by the bullet. As he kind of backs up, you. As you're walking towards him, he begins shouting under his breath, says, "Percival, you disappoint us all. All you had to do was die like a good de Rolo."
Traitor! And I've got 2 more shots. Next shot.
This one into his chest, and you can see the actual breastplate bends inward to the wound, and he spitting out blood from his mouth as he bends forward. This land has a greater destiny. You and that fool Ripley, you place your faith in toys and dust. You seek the transient truths.
I pull. How close am I at this point?
You're stepping up to him.
Perfect.
And as you're doing this, as you pull the mask down in front
pull
of
the
you,
mask down.
he says, "I die to rise again. We are his blood."
I put my gun in his mouth to shut him the fuck up. You're the face I saw when murder entered my heart. This is your doing, and I pull the trigger.
With that, a resounding blast echoes through the room. The back of his head just scatters across the wall behind him. The top of his head kind of folds in a little bit from the now lack of a substantial base, and he just kind of tumbles backward, releasing the gun with a limp onto the ground behind you. You're still holding the pepper box in front of you, hands shaking. As you hold it there looking at it, you can see there's a flash of purple energy across the barrel that has Anders' name across it, and the name burns away, leaving the barrel blank. Smoke begins to subside a little bit. It's still there, but it seems like the moment it has this kind of release aspect to it.
That's my turn.
Yeah, that is a turn. Vax, you're up.
How close are the suits of armor to me? I can't tell.
There's one over here, and there's one.
Something like
Technically, it's right next to you.
Right next to me. And am I still prone?
You're still prone,
While
yeah.
healed? So how much movement does it take?
Half
to
your
get up?
movement.
Half my movement?
Don't get an attack of opportunity.
No, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna use disengage.
Is it bonus action? Okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna skip back into the corner, and at this point I can throw one dagger at that suit of armor. So I'm gonna do that.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. That is 19.
That hits.
I have no voice left. That is a 11.
11 points of damage. Alrighty. Oh, that's right. Okay. Great. Okay. That. Let's see here now. This is cool of it. That ends your turn. I had the list down here. All right, Grog, you're up.
Am I flanked by 2 suits of armor or
No,
just one?
there's just one right next
I'll
to you.
turn to him and rage.
Okay, regular rage.
Regular rage.
Yeah, okay.
And swing away.
Go for it.
Classic rage, we call it.
Classic.
Good old classic rage.
14.
14 hits.
Nice. And 25.
And
Both
you
hit,
get
yeah.
3 hits.
No, just 2.
I thought rage.
Believe me, I know.
Frenzy rage has 3 hits. Damn.
17 with the fire damage. The first one.
I think
18 on the second one.
Okay. Cool. So as you slam your hammer twice into the armor dents and bursts, and you can see now the energy it's holding it together is flickering, almost like the arcane entity that resides within it is having a hard time keeping itself in physical form. All right, that ends your turn, unless you want to move or do anything else. All right,
Did you hit?
Scanlan, you're up.
Yeah, twice.
Oh, okay. Oh, me? Oh,
Yep.
man, I can't do anything against these fuckers.
Yes, you can.
Go Scanlan, short halt.
Believe.
All right, I'll enter the room, I suppose.
Okay.
Well, just a little.
Right there? All right.
Just a tip.
Just the tip. And shit. I don't want to waste anything on these fuckers. Okay. I let's see here. I'll just do
Gotta be close to that.
2d8. All right. I'll run up actually a little bit closer to the dude, to the guy closest to me.
Okay, you'll get into melee with him if you do.
Well then, what does that mean?
Meaning if you want to do any ranged attack or a spell attack roll, you would have disadvantage on it, but otherwise it has no effect.
He can attack you though, because he's right next to you.
He won't be for long.
Okay.
So I get up close and they're like 5 feet away, and then I'll just thunder wave him.
Okay.
I do like that thing where frat boys do like the chest bump.
Like come at me, bro.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's awesome.
We did do that.
Alrighty.
Not much.
Alrighty, that's
It's just like 2d8.
yeah, okay.
Roll 2 8s.
Is this the first level Thunder Wave?
I believe it is. Yes.
Okay, so it makes a Constitution saving throw.
Does he make it?
No, I rolled a natural 4.
Okay, so
So it takes 2d8 thunder damage, and he's pushed over the table and like tumbles over, and then would fall over if it wasn't now drifting above the ground a few inches and kind of rights itself, but it did push it away from you. So roll 2d8 damage.
I did. It's only 9 points of damage.
9 points of thunder damage against that helmed creature. All right, that brings us to their turn. So this creature you just slammed into is going to rush back towards you. This one's going to turn and attack you, Grog. 2 strikes against you. That is a 15.
Misses.
Sorry, 25. You rolled a
Hits.
19, actually. And that is a 21.
Both hit.
Okay. So you take 6 points of slashing damage, half to 3, and 9 points of slash damage, half to 5.
Right.
So take 8 points of slashing damage total. 2 strikes against you, Scanlan. That is an 18.
Oh yes, that hits.
Okay, and then a 12.
Hey, that misses.
So you take that's 11 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
As this goes to strike a second time, you see the second blow coming, you just duck out of the way. That ends their go. Next up is Keyleth.
So there are 2 guys alive right now.
Correct, yes.
One's on Scanlan.
Yep, one's on Grog. The one on near Grog's looking a little rough. The one near Scanlan's doing okay.
How's Cassandra looking next to me?
She's fine. There's no blood. There's nothing. The wound's gone entirely. But other than that, she looks fine.
Looks fine. Okay. I've got my grasping vine still up. I'm going to wrap it around the guy that's close to Scanlan. And just yank him off of Scanlan.
Okay. This pulls him over Scanlan's form and slams him right next to Cassandra.
Okay. And then I will just go, oh, and pop him with my staff.
Go for it.
You can hit this.
Pop! Yeah, I got a big old staff, yo. I'm not great at it, but I can do it.
She can Gandalf that.
Ooh, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
16?
16 does not hit, unfortunately.
Oh, ping! Ooh,
He's got armor.
it sounded nice though. Kind of resonated a little bit.
So shakes off of it for a second. All right, is that your turn?
Yep.
Alrighty, that brings us to Vex.
So I'm still down on my knees.
You're still down on your knee. Your brother got up and rushed off. He seems okay, and he's like, kind of taking a breath for
I
himself.
look up at Percy, who's covered in smoke, and I grab his hand, and I say, Percival, how are you?
His head slowly turns towards you, the mask still on. You can see his eyes just barely through the glistening circular glass slots where he looks through. The smoke still kind of billowing out from underneath it. The head slowly turns towards you.
Fine.
Darling, take the mask off. And
I don't have a turn yet, but
I shoot at the guy that's attacking Grog.
Okay. He is technically melee with you, so you get disadvantage on these strikes unless you want to move away.
Does he get an attack of opportunity though if I scooch you back?
He would unless he didn't take one against you when you ran back, so disengaged. So yes, he would.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so you move back a step. That is a 21.
Hits.
Okay, you take 9 points of slashing damage as you reach back. The creature whoosh, arcs with its sword and manages to strike you.
Bastard!
Roll for your attacks.
Okay. That is 26. And 23.
Okay. Both hit.
I didn't Hunter's Mark him because I'm brilliant! Yes! 15, 30, 34 points.
34 points of damage from both?
Yeah, 2 8s. Plus 14. So,
as you release both
plus
the
my
arrows.
braces.
Right. As you pull the arrows out and launch them both simultaneously, 2 arrows in one notch, release them both. One slams into the armor, the one that goes underneath the helmet, and as it strikes, you hear this like horrible echoing screech that echoes as the armor falls to the ground.
Yeah.
You can take the rest of your movement if you like.
I stand up.
Well, you were standing up to get.
Oh,
up
I
and move
scooched
back.
back, right. Okay, well then, fuck
Unless
it.
you wanted to be like you.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to go.
Okay, so you pulled back and then while on the ground, release the arrows.
Yeah, I
Give
figured,
it off
like,
with the
up
rest of your
into
turn. There you go.
right.
Stand up, brush yourself off. That ends your go. That brings us
And
to
Trinket isn't allowed to move any at all.
Trinket can if you want.
Can he run after her?
Yep. Rushes out. We'll get there. Rushes through the fog and looks over and sees her right there. Okay. That ends your turn. Now it's her turn. She goes to a full dash.
Does Trinket get an attack of opportunity
Trinket does get an
for
attack
that?
of opportunity.
Okay.
Come on, Trinket.
Scratch her up.
That's in the corner. I can't
it's
really
on the
say.
edge, yeah.
Oh, you piece of shit.
Don't do that! Don't do that! I hate that sound!
So what'd you roll?
That's a 12.
Good to know.
12?
Yeah.
12 does not hit, unfortunately.
doesn't.
Even with no armor, she's a pretty quick one.
And she's fucking on.
Ducks below and just bolts down the hallway and around the corner.
Why we let her have anything?
All right.
You're out.
So, that ends your turn, her turn, Percy, you're up.
Guy.
I'm going to pull off the mask and walk forward a bit and take 3 shots, about there, and take 3 shots at the armor.
Okay. Regular shots?
Sharpshooter shots.
Okay.
With 1 ice. So, 14.
14 misses. Deflects it with the shield.
Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah. God damn it.
That's better.
17.
Deflects the second one with the shield.
Damn it.
Heavy armor on this one.
Drop in sharpshooter for the 3rd one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that it helped. 16.
This one actually manages to duck out of the way. It splinters across the wall behind it.
Yeah.
You're tough.
It's my turn.
Alrighty. The Vax, you're up.
Kill him.
I'm just gonna walk as far as I can. So 30 feet.
There?
Am I within 40 feet?
No.
No. Then I just stand.
Yeah, use your rest of your action to keep moving if you like.
Oh right, yeah. I'm gonna move around that table and get by Scanlan. Stand right next to me.
There you
yeah.
go. Okay. That brings us to Grog.
I would like to move to the suit of armor, please.
Oh yes.
Please sit down the suit of
Like
armor.
running towards, kind of jumping and putting one foot on the table, using that as momentum to rush in the air with the leg. Go ahead and roll your attack.
24
24 hits.
and 25.
5 hits.
20 with fire damage.
Nice.
And 16 with fire damage.
Gotcha. Bring the hammer down. The helmet actually gets pushed into the armor. It has to reform itself before it has a chance to. You bring around the hammer and hit the shield. The shield with such force that it pushes it into itself and slams it against the wall. And you take the back of the hammer and slam it up under the actual helmet, hitting the creature. You see the flames kind of burn across the side of its arcane form, causing it to shimmer for a second. It's looking pretty rough.